right, welcome back. This is still the POLITY reaching you live from Abuja. I've been joined now in the studio by Mr. Michael Isaac Onuh. He's a public affairs analyst to do justice to issues on the state of the nation and particularly with the economic situation of things and other matters, including the Labour Party affair. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's good to have you.
It's a pleasure.
All right, so let's start, very quickly with the issue of a planned protest by the NLC. It's been garnering a lot of attention, left, right, and center. It's meant to hold, I believe, Tuesday and Wednesday, that's tomorrow and next. I'd like to get your thoughts on this and the reactions we've been seeing. The presidency, talking about Mr. Bayo Onanuga, he says that the protest is illegal, and I wonder what your thoughts are about that, claiming that the protest is illegal or that the protest has the capacity to be illegal. And also, the other responses we're getting, we heard that 65 CSOs have pulled out and so on and so forth. So what are your thoughts on this planned protest and everything that's surrounding it?
Yeah, what Labour unions actually said, they say they want to protest the rising cost of living, amongst other things. I think constitutionally or legally, it might not be right to protest. However, the issues, when Labour actually made the pronouncement that they are going on strike, I think the DSS came first and said they should shelve the protest because they perceived, paraphrasing now, the spokesperson of the DSS, Peter Funaya, came and said they perceived that probably elements are trying to hijack the protest. And because of a little bit of tension in the land, they will advise Labour to shelve the protest. But Labour insisted. It didn't actually stop there. The Attorney General of the Federation actually wrote to the Council of Labour Party. That's Fagbemi San. He wrote to the Council of Labour Parties, Femi Falana. And in the letter, he said, if Labour embark on the strike today, that's a gross misconduct or contempt of court. However, in a swift response, the Labour Party Council, Femi Falana, wrote back to them.
You mean the Nigerian Labour Congress's council?
Lawyer wrote back to Fagbemi that Labour can proceed on the strike, that there is nothing wrong that they have done. He quoted, I think, section 80, subsection 4 of the Constitution that permits that. The argument that the federal government actually presented was there was a subsisting court order that restrained Labour from going to the strike. But Fagbemi, in his statement, he said no, that doesn't stop Labour from embarking on the strike. This is what he said. Now, let me quote Femi Falana's statement, what he said, what he wrote to Femi Falana. This is what he said. He said, we advise the members of the NLC to conduct the rally scheduled for 27-28 in a peaceful manner. He went ahead to say, we urge you to use, is appealing to the federal government to use their good office to direct the Inspector General of Police to provide adequate security to the conveners and participants of the protest. Now, all these things surrounding it, the federal government have been reacting. The presidential aides, I think Bayo Onanuga, like you said earlier, he has spoken. He's still trying to quote what the AGF has said, that it's gross competent for them to go. They should not embark on the strike. But Labour has insisted that they are going to go. Labour went ahead to say, because of the warning that DSS gave of probably hijacking the protest, the presidency released a statement through the Minister of Communication, I think earlier yesterday or today, and said no, the federal government are not going to attack the protest, or they are not going to use any hoodlums. But however, there are a lot of civil societies that there was an anti-protest against the protest itself, I think over the weekend, by some youths of Nigeria Council of Society or something. They actually came up to protest, and the federal government has actually given Labour their word that they are not going to hijack the protest, and Labour still insisted that they must embark on the strike. So as the days goes, 27 is tomorrow and 28, let's see how it's going to turn out to be. Even in Lagos and Ekiti, I think the police has issued warnings that even if they are embarking on the strike, it must be peaceful. They must not disrupt economic activities. So let's watch out as things unfold.
All right, so my question is, what the DSS response about people hijacking possibly, isn't that a constant threat that anytime any protest wants to happen, there could be that possibility? So I'm wondering, is this not a case where it is the job of the DSS or the job of other security agencies to ensure that doesn't happen? Because using that as an excuse for protests not to happen means that protests should never happen. Because at any point in time, there will always be allegedly people who seek to manipulate that for their own purposes.
Yeah, thank you. Like the DSS has issued warning. What I expected them to do is to curb or arrest what would have led to maybe possible hijack or that will lead to maybe crisis. The way they came out, it makes them look as if they are being partisan or they are on the side of the government. The beauty of democracy, some of those things makes democracy what it is today. And the government must ensure that they shouldn't resist or they should not stop people from embarking on peaceful protests. However, I understand that as a responsible government with the tension, it behooves on them to ensure that anything that will possibly inflame or cause unrest in the country must be avoided. But however, Labour has insisted that they will go on the strike. And Labour said any clamp down on them, any attempt by the government or by anybody to clamp down on them, they're going to shut down activities. This we must avoid. The counsel to the Labour has advised the federal government to provide security. So if I am in the shoes of the government today, what I would do, I will ensure security are mobilized so that they can maybe give protection or guide to Labour Party as long as they want to embark on the peaceful protest. But constitutionally, I think is their right to embark on the protest.
Right, fair enough. Let's talk now about the actual reason for the protest. Labour is saying that the government has allegedly failed to implement agreements reached between themselves and government on October 2, 2023, following the removal of fuel subsidy. I'd like to get your thoughts on this, particularly this dynamic in Nigeria where a body, could be a union of some kind or perhaps Labour itself, has issues and then they meet at a round table or a discussion with the government, and whatever actions they want to take is shelved or it is suspended due to an agreement or a memorandum of understanding. And we always see that at some point it's alleged that the government didn't keep up, and then either the strike comes back on protest as we're about to see. So the question is, what's your take on their allegation that the government has not met their end of the bargain? Is this a case where they should be more patient, or do they need to do this to show they mean business?
Yeah, the truth is, I don't want to advocate for Labour to be patient at this time. The government should be the people that should be patient. Agreement was reached. You say you're going to do A, B, C, D. You didn't do it until when they start threatening. Agreed. I think in the letter, the counsel to the federal government, the Attorney General of the Federation wrote, he said they are already meeting up some demands. But the point here is, we live in a country where both the government officials, we don't want to be very responsible. We always believe in the fire brigade approach. And by doing so, you're going to achieve less. The federal government has promised a lot of things. They've not been able to do it, despite the fact that they have removed subsidy which has led to their propensity to save or having more money to be more. Nothing was done. As to threatened strike, and because the threatened strike, federal government quickly released some funds for them, 4 months, what was agreed last year. And other sectors, you said because of the hardship, you're going to release POLITY for people monthly for 6 months. It was not done. But because of threats here and there, they quickly started releasing it. So the question is, federal government should blame itself. It's not labor. If you had met what you agree with them, even not all, but at least to some reasonable percentage, I think you will have a cause to say, okay, you have done this and labor wants to still embark on the strike. But you have not done what you agreed on. So they dwell on that. I want to embark on the strike. And the strike, like I said earlier, constitutionally, I think is their right. It's the right thing. Is their right. And these are the things that makes democracy. When you take those things out, then there's no democracy.
Interesting. It is something to think about. And some words you mentioned there, I think I'll take away from this interview. You said you wouldn't advise labor to be patient. The government should be patient. I think that works in any ramification. When the government says Nigerians should be patient, I think it makes complete sense for us to say that perhaps it's the government that should be patient with Nigerians. So that being said, I'd like to just get your thoughts generally on the state of things in terms of the economy. We know the government, they're making so many moves, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on results. As regards the issue of the exchange rate, over the week there was this very crazy spiral downwards, but although as from between yesterday and today there's been some level of gains made by the naira. So I'd like to get your thoughts on all the decisions that are being made. I believe today we might be having the first MPC meeting in months. For a very long time we've not had that, and this is basically where those started with responsibility are meant to work on how to fix the issue of inflation and this exchange rate. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that and the moves being made. Do you see them eventually yielding the desired results?
Yeah, thank you. Like you said earlier, actually I think slightly the naira has actually gained some grounds.
Yes. But
not good enough. Because both the official and maybe parallel market rate is still ranges between 1.4 to 1.5, which is still high. Now, there was raid on BDCs and maybe crypto, I think some last week by EFCC. We are waiting to see the level of compliance and the effect that it's going to have. But I still think, in my opinion, you are not addressing the issues. The government knows the issues. And as long as you are not addressing the issues from the root, you are like when you're addressing it. It doesn't solve the problem. It's only a matter of time. It's going to come back. From the projections and a lot of things that are on ground, I'm going to say it the way it is. And however, we're going to be hopeful. But the truth is, there are some recipes for disasters that is already happening in the economy. And in economics, you don't allow that. The naira is getting poorer. People are getting poorer. Inflation currently is at 29.9%. And there's tendency it might get to 30 plus. High rate of unemployment. In economics, you don't allow these things to happen. Now, research has shown that the government should look at itself first before you start clamping down on some of those things. Even though in economics we call some of those things quick fixes, it doesn't solve the problem. What we need are permanent solutions. Research has currently shown now that before the removal of the subsidy, I think FAC allocation is around 600 billion or thereabouts. And after the removal of the subsidy, it grew to 1.6 trillion to 1.9 trillion. Yes, money increased. But because of some government decisions, it has affected negatively on the increase, because what 600 billion would have done yesterday, 1.9 trillion probably wouldn't have done it. And now another revealing aspect is a lot of factors are putting pressure on the naira, not just the BDCs and what the government clamped down on. To our amazement and most economics, it's been discovered that there's a link between FAC funds and exchange rate. What do I mean? The government releases every month, they releases allocation to states. The state government are supposed to use it for meaningful development, something that will impact on the lives of its people, of its indigents. But a lot of them are not doing it. What do? They just go to the bureau de change and change those money into dollars. Research has shown there's a link between FAC funds and pressure on the naira. Now, the government, you are clamping down on orders. What are you going to do with the state governors? It has shown, report has shown that. So automatically, the government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must, as a matter of urgency, meet with the state governors so that they can address some of these issues. And one of the things I want to recommend for them is those FAC allocations to states. If there's a way, everything shouldn't be given to the states. Some savings, which will act as buffer, should be kept aside for them. But however, I can tell you for free, if that is done, the state governors will go to court, and because of our judiciary, they will win. So we are having a situation, a serious situation. Right now.
I think it's fair enough to always want our leaders should take responsibility first.
That's right.
Because the other day we heard the CBN governor, without directly saying it, sort of blame pressure on Nigerians who are leaving to study abroad and so on and so forth. But then it's as though they say when you point one finger, force pointed back at you. So that being said, the government is still making moves to arrest these issues and perhaps bring some positivity to it. And I'll just read now a bit of breaking news, so to speak. The TUC is telling the federal government to begin food importation. This is on the issue of economic crisis. I want to get your thoughts on this because a lot of persons are suggesting this and saying that perhaps the way forward is, we're not saying that we should just import now. We're saying for the period where there is food insecurity, food should be allowed to come in the meantime. What do you make of this? Is this something that could hurt us in the future, or it's something that is necessary at this point?
Yeah, like I said earlier, in economics, there are things we call quick fix. That aspect is actually a solution to the current challenges we are going through now, particularly on the aspect of food and rising food inflation in the market. So doing that is going to be able to arrest some of this situation. Report has shown that for us to be self-sufficient when it comes to food, we need like 1 million metric tons of grains annually for us to be self-sufficient. And as a matter of urgency, the government, according to various economic experts, have less than 3 months to toe the path that TUC has suggested. Because currently now, what we are facing now is economic impact or concerns. Those can be manageable. And it's been projected that by June of this year to December, it's supposed to move from economic concern to social concern. And when that happens, it is something that we should not pray for to see. So that part, the government should do it. I'm aware we have a lot of mills in Nigeria. We have in Lagos, we have in the Middle Belt, we have a lot in Benue and some other states. The government should, as a matter of urgency, do that immediately. And they must do it between now and the next 3 months. If it's not done because of the hunger, I'm afraid when it gets to the level of social concern, people might stage a protest outside, and we don't know how it's going to end. Like a wise man said, a hungry man is always an angry man. People are hungry out there. So that part of the quick fix, yes, the government can do that part. But however, that has always been the problem we are always having in this country. When you're faced with emergency situation, you can quickly fix it. But however, don't throw away the permanent fixes, and that has been lacking in our country. No policy continuation, and the government must have a better agricultural plan for the future. So that part that TUC has said, I think is the way to go at the moment right now. If they don't do it, we don't have the capacity or the food available to feed us now.
What about when the government keeps blaming, you know, some farmers and some traders for hoarding? What's your take on that?
You know, like I said in some other platforms, a bad workman will always blame his tools. I still find it difficult that APC-led administration will still want to be throwing in blames. You know, there was a report by the well-respected Minister of Finance, Wale Edun. He said the last time Nigeria had stability in everything is 10 years ago. That's like under Jonathan. And that's the same administration that was kicked out. You know, was a lot of protests, a lot of campaigns, negative campaigns, and he was voted out. Now APC, this administration inherited from APC. The damage didn't start today. So blaming the farmers, we must act responsible, like the way you said. The government should be responsible. They should stop trading blames. You are the government, you have all the machineries. Anything you want to do to make things work for this country, you should do it. That's why you're in government. They should stop giving further excuses. That's my opinion, and I stand by that.
All right. Perhaps to round up this issue on hardship and the responses, the government keeps saying that most of the discontent we're seeing is as a result of opposition parties riling up Nigerians. And we see them replying a lot to, you know, opposition, especially when someone like the former vice president talks. We see people from the presidency, even one of the information ministry, replying him directly, almost as though, you know, the roles are reversed. It is opposition replying those in power. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that narrative that keeps being pushed, that, well, things might not be as bad as opposition is making it, and opposition is trying to make the country, you know, unbearable.
I still think the opposition are not doing much. That's the truth. They are not doing much. The beauty of democracy, opposition is part of it. They are still not doing much. I think the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar released a statement that Nigeria should toe the path of Argentina and imbibe some of their reforms. And I think the government, the presidency, they replied. The question I keep asking myself is, the APC-led administration, were they expecting the opposition to say something different? They are not even doing much. They have every reason to demarcate this administration, but they are not doing it. So for the government to come out and say they are fueling the protests, that is what the government should say, because they must put up a defense. But the truth is, we have seen some other protests in some places. I don't think the opposition sponsored it. And the major opposition party, I still want to say they are not doing much. If you're doing much, the government will be on their toes. You will keep seeing reforms. You're going to see improvement. And as a matter of urgency, the government must do everything within its power to ensure that these situations are arrested immediately. The outlook there, they are not too good. We have seen one way or the other, the government has tried to assuage the situation, but it hasn't still solved the problem. Until we get to the root, you are still window dressing. What is happening now to the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian naira is as good as saying that the backbone is broken. And you know, medically, when a man's backbone is broken, he's going to be on the bed for a very long time. That is what is happening. The backbone is broken. President Tinubu must do as a matter of urgency arrest the situation. He has removed the subsidy. The allocation to the federal government has increased. But like we said the last time, removal of the subsidy is not the solution. What is the solution is removing the corruption in the subsidy. And you don't just come and remove subsidy immediately without having things. Refineries are not working. Infrastructure facilities and social amenities, they are not in good place. If those things were in place and you remove it, the effect wouldn't have been like this. But it's so unfortunate, this policy decision of the government, it has so far, it has not worked well. It has not yielded the desired results yet. And the government must act fast. The opposition, they are not doing much. They must do more. That is the beauty of democracy.
All right, speaking about opposition, the Labour Party had some, scuffles over the weekend, I believe, when the national chairman was arrested. Pictures of him on the floor, allegedly being manhandled, began to trend on social media. I'd like to get your thoughts on that, first of all, before we go deeper into the matter. That's the head, so to speak, of one of the major oppositions. What was that optic like, that the national chairman should be treated in such a way when it would be believed that the security forces under the president, the president himself, is a political opponent to these persons who's been treated this way?
It's so unfortunate that we kept doing or towing the wrong path. And a wise man actually says something that it's insanity for you to keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. Malhandling and arresting the Labour Party opposition, one of the major opposition party, it is wrong and must be condemnable by all well-meaning Nigerians. Why? The APC-led administration, they are giving Nigerians, making Nigeria to perceive as if you have a hand in that. I am aware that there was a petition written against the Labour Party national chairman. But the right thing to do, in my opinion, is you would have extended an invitation to him. The Labour Party chairman is a highly politically exposed person. I don't think he's going to run away. I have not seen or read from any statement that said, okay, we have invited him and he refused. You don't do that. In civilized crime, that aspect must be totally condemnable. It is wrong, it is immoral, it is not right. It is not good for democracy. And to make the matters worse, the person you arrested that way is the leader of a major political party that came very close in the last election. It is wrong. It must be condemnable. The Nigerian police must call its officers to order. I think overzealousness is part of the problem. Hey, you don't do that. At that level, all you need to do is send an invitation to him. If he doesn't come, you can release a statement before you can go and bundle him like a criminal. It is wrong and it must be condemnable. But we found out because a lot of Nigerians spoke, and we, in our own little capacity, were able to lend our voice on that aspect, that he has been released. So we're waiting to see the next step the Labour Party are going to take to that direction.
Fair enough. What do you make of the talks behind it, that all of this came as a result of allegations by the former national youth leader that the national chairman had an attempt on his life? What do you make of that? It seems left, right, center, there's one accusation or another against the national chairman. It's becoming quite a lot, don't you think?
Yeah, it's actually becoming quite a lot. If you can remember, I think the last time I was here,
yes,
I said something. If you look at antecedents, the Labour Party national chairman is going to come out of it. Sometimes when we make some of those assertions, we make it based on some available facts at our disposal. One of the things I discovered is the national leadership of the party are behind the national chairman. So it will be difficult to take him out. The last time that the incident happened, that
But there are so few of them left, you know. The former youth leader is gone. The publicity secretary back then is gone.
The treasurer.
The treasurer now has joined. You know, do you think he still has enough to you know, give him that support that he needs?
And like I said the last time, the leadership of Julius Abure, they are leaving some loose ends, and when you do that, opposition can feast on this. The former youth leader Anselm, good comrade, you know, our contemporary, he raised that allegation of a threat to his life, and in the petition that the police read out or something, they said the Labour Party national chairman, there was a petition against him. Okay, agreed. Even if there was a petition, there was this, invite him. I think that's the honorable thing to do. If he refuses to honor your invitation, you can get court injunction. We have not seen those things yet, and you went like that to bundle a national chairman of a major opposition party. People are going to perceive as if the government have a hand in this. And the truth is, like I said, and I want to still repeat it, in politics, if you give your opposition the opportunity, they are going to feast on it and bring it to your knees. The Labour Party, as a matter of urgency, must put its house together. They just finished their primaries. Maybe we'll get to that. Another issue is coming up. So on that aspect, they should have invited him, and I still think Barrister Abure, the Labour Party national chairman, is going to come out of this, and he's going to come out of it. He's going to come out of it.
All right, fair enough. Like you said, we're going to get to it, so let's get to it now. The issue of Edo State and the primaries. Barrister, pardon me, sometimes they don't like it that way. Mr. Olumide Akpata, Esquire, has emerged as the candidate for the Edo State Labour Party. What are your thoughts on that? His emergence and the emergence of those he will run against? It's the set is almost complete now, if not already. The NRM, the NNPP, others are called party. They've all got their candidates now.
Yeah, you know, if you look at the scenario of things, event that played out in the Edo primary election, the major leading political parties, the APC, the PDP, the Labour Party, there's a common trend. There's a common trend amongst them, and it's an issue of concern. It's an issue of concern. Particularly, the Labour Party must be seen to be doing something differently, completely. The APC, let's begin trying to analyze me from the APC. The APC started, and they made Hope Uzodimma the governor of Imo State. He's the chairman of the primary election for APC, and they have a separate returning officer. But because of interest, we knew what happened. 3 factions came out to claim to be the winner. We have the person that Hope Uzodimma declared winner.
Ida
Hosa.
Yeah.
We have Monday Opebolu, and we have another 4th person. What happened? Our politicians keep repeating the same thing over and over again. But thank God for Voice of Reason. A lot of people came and advised the National Working Committee and National Chairman of the APC that no, take out Hope Uzodimma. You don't do that. Once there's a returning officer, if all you need to do, you work together as a team. He's supposed to make the announcement. You make your announcement, he made his own. Now the National Party of leadership of APC came and said no. That election was declared inconclusive. In their wisdom and in their knowledge, because they don't want what has transpired in Zamfara and the rest to happen, because it should have happened. They annulled it and went for another exercise. That exercise, they changed Hope Uzodimma immediately and made the governor of Cross River State, Onuh, the chairman. And in that outcome, Monday Opebolu emerged as the authentic winner of APC in that primaries. So wise move by the APC national leadership for coming in. Then when you go to the PDP, the major contest is between Iswe Ighodalo and Philip Shuaibu. But like we said the last time, we need the major stakeholders with the governor. You know, governors, they play a lot of role in who emerge as a flag bearer of the party. The governor's camp, headed by the chairman of the PDP primary election, the Zamfara State governor, and co-chaired by the Delta State governor, Sheriff, announced Ighodalo as the authentic PDP flag bearer. But however, Philip Shuaibu there was another contrary parallel primaries, and he is claiming hold to the party leadership. Now, based on all these things, I think INEC are either already issuing or will be issuing certificate of return to the authentic winners. But I still think the one that will be recognized by INEC is that of Iswe Ighodalo. He might eventually become the authentic flag bearer for PDP. And for APC, is going to be the Monday Okpebholo. Is the one that emerged. I think INEC will recognize them. Now back to Labour Party. Before the primaries properly, Olumide Akpata, former NBA chairman, he raised allegation that money bags want to hijack, was making the noise, which is expected anyway, so that you put your opposition, try to disorganize them or something. And the primary was done. I think the most peaceful was that of the Labour Party. And he emerged. And I still think that is the candidate that INEC will recognize. But shortly after that, Lamidi Apapa faction showed up again and presented another candidate, Anderson. So you can see an average politician, their pattern of always of doing things, like I mentioned earlier, trend, the same thing. APC, PDP, Labour Party. You see, issues are coming up. Now the Labour Party leadership issued a statement that this is the person we recognize. Lamidi is not this, and they are trying to question INEC. That going forward today, they want INEC, before any mail correspondence is coming from Labour Party, they should confirm from them before they received it, because the Lamidi Apapa faction actually submitted another candidate. So you can see the trend, the same thing playing out in the same political party. So what I'm saying is, there should be a difference. I am not seeing much difference. But among all the primaries, that of the Labour Party was relatively tensionless and peaceful. And all the frontline candidates have emerged.
All right. Now that the candidates have emerged, good analysis there on the emergence and similarities. I'd like to get your thoughts as to, there's some persons are now, calling out the Labour Party during this period because of the three candidates, front runners. The APC has Monday Okpebholo, Senator Monday Okpebholo is from Edo Central. The PDP has Iswe Ighodalo, is from Edo Central. But the Labour Party has Olumide Akpata, is from Edo South. The current governor is from Edo South. So people are saying, well, when it was presidential election, you said you can't have Fulani to Fulani, Muslim to Muslim. Why is it now in the state you're completely okay with having Edo South to Edo South? So I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Is this just a case of trying to get power first and then working on it later?
Basically, the Labour Party, this is an internal party affairs. The constitution basically, I think, gives room for rotation. However, for the Labour Party to bring a candidate from the South, do they have the right to do it? Yes. Why do I say do they have the right to do it? If you look at the incumbent governor that is from the South, is not from Labour Party. Labour Party can begin to the Labour Party can begin by saying that, okay, we want to begin our own rotation, our own from the South. After the South, it moves, until that's an internal party affair. But is it going to have an effect on the outcome? Yes, there's possibility. It's now left for the electorate to decide. Are you getting it? But I think for the APC, that was a smart move from them. Yeah, that was a smart move because.
But when it comes to talking about smart moves, some person believes it's the Labour Party that made a smart move because Edo South has the vast majority of voters. Actually, Edo Central has the most let me not say minuscule, the smallest of the three zones: Edo South, Edo North, and Edo Central. Edo South has the largest, Edo North, then Edo Central. So the two main candidates, for lack of a better word, pardon me, the APC and PDP candidates are sort of hustling for the Edo Central votes, which is minute in the large scale of things. And then you have Edo South completely on its own. And there were talks that the former Edo State Governor, Senator Shomole, would bring to bear his Edo North movement, because he just won an election as a senator there. He was a former governor. He's definitely going to have some pull. And we have in the PDP that the person who was meant to garner some of the Edo North support, which is Mr. Philip Shuaibu, is still fighting the party and trying to get something out of it. So in terms of being smart, do you think the Labour Party might have had a master stroke here, or do you think Edo people might not care about voting along zones?
Certainly not maybe disrespect for other political parties, but I think, in my opinion, the winner of the Edo State election is going to come from these three major front runners. That's what I think, because if you look at antecedents of vote, yes, the Labour Party would have had a better edge. The main battleground in the Edo elections might not even be at the central. Why do I say so? The two major political parties, their candidates are from there. So there is tendency that the votes will be splitted there. Certainly, it will be splitted between the both of them. And for Edo South, if Labour Party can play its politics well, they might just spring up the surprise element. But however, don't rule out that the incumbent governor is from the South, like we have analyzed.
Sure. And
you cannot rule the role governors play in our elections. They are a major force. They are a major factor. Any camp that is able to rule Philip Shuaibu, like I said the last time, will go into the contest having a slight edge. What do I mean? They do not. Adam Oshomole is a force, and that area looks like reasonable votes are going to come from the opposition or something from there because of the Adam Oshomole factor. What actually demystified or mitigated his influence, reduced his influence in that election, was Philip Shuaibu. Now Philip Shuaibu is no longer with the governor. I think he alleged recently that they are threatening to impeach him. These are factors. So who is going to win him? Which camp is going to work? But for now, I think it's still too early. Every political analyst cannot tell you this person is going to win. No. But as the election comes closer, you can begin to see variables or factors. You can say, okay, if this happens, this can happen. Between now and September or November is still far. We cannot outrightly say this is going to be the winner. But however, Labour Party is a first in Edo. If they can play their politics well, they might just bring us a surprise. While the major two political parties, APC and PDP, are fighting, there might be a surprise from maybe Labour Party or even another party.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Michael. It's been a great one listening to you break it down, the various issues on hand today. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, that's how we end the program for today. Don't forget, the Polity reaches you live from Abuja every weekday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Do join us once again tomorrow, where we bring you more discourse and analysis on politics, governance, and the state of the nation. Have a nice day. I'm Amadin.